Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Hello.
You right?
I'm all right. I mean, you're still here then?
Yeah, I came back. I mean, I was on the fence. Then I remembered,
Club
there's a lot
loyalty.
worse things in life, isn't there?
There are.
And also, there's been a lot worse things in Exeter City supporting lifetime.
There certainly has. Did you see this Italian coach said that football is the most important of the least important things?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems to fit well.
It's absolutely true as well.
Yeah, agreed. So anyway, I mean, it's not great. Having said all that positive stuff, it wasn't a great day at the Bescott Stadium.
No,
Dan?
we are well and truly in a bit of a lull, aren't we?
We really are. Talking of lulls, what's your favourite Bescott? I like a chocolate hobnob.
Not even close.
Oh, come on. I'm just trying to lighten the mood.
I wanted to do a biscuit podcast at one point, and then have settled for this instead.
Settled?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Look out for it.
Much broader appeal, a biscuit podcast.
That's true. What is your favourite biscuit?
It's quite boring. I do like biscuits, but I don't buy them because I find it impossible to not eat the whole packet in one go.
Yeah, that's true.
So my favourite is a dark chocolate digestive.
Ooh, la-di-da.
Yeah, it's
I
not
like
very
a-
la-di-da.
I like a crunch cream.
Well, what even is that?
You know, crunch cream.
Foxes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right. Talking of foxy people, well, it was a game of highs and lows, wasn't it, City? So we lost 3-1 to Walsall, and we started terribly. And it's really depressing listening to watching the highlights because the City supporters, the away supporters, are in magnificent voice.
Yeah.
2 minutes in,
I know. How many times that now in recent games?
what an early goal.
Yeah.
It's too regular.
We haven't had a clean sheet in absolute time.
No, it's been some time. I don't quite know what happened, but their winger came in from his side, basically on the byline, and I think takes a punt at goal, and Ward either palms it out, or it hits the post and he palms it out, or he palms it onto the post and out it comes.
Something like that, innit? It's an alarming pattern of like us not being able to deal with balls into the box.
Yes.
Or at least not consistently, because it seems to always be what happens is that it's a high ball into the box and we manage to make a mess of it. It's happened so often, and since January, and there's been a lot of talk about goalkeepers and whatnot, and who's better than who, who's better than whom,
Yes.
whatever. And it was irrelevant anyway because Johnny Maxted's injured, so it doesn't make any difference.
No.
We have to play Lewis Ward, whether you like it or not.
Got that Northern Irish fella on the bench.
The guy in the pants, yeah.
Yeah.
The muscly guy.
The muscly guy.
You could play him, but then again,
He doesn't like wearing shirts. Referee says he's got to wear a shirt.
that's fine, but
He just wants to flex
we
his
just don't
abs.
know what he's like, do we?
No.
So there's
Ward's in
that. So
goal.
we're 1-0 down after 2 minutes, and
Yeah.
that's ruined my Saturday immediately.
Kicked the radio in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute nightmare. And then we were lucky to cling on to 1-0 at half
Oh
time.
my word! One of their players missed a chance, which you'd be so angry if it was one of your players. I mean, it didn't matter for them in the end because they obviously won, but
No.
it falls to him. He's maybe 3 yards out. He just whole goal, and he managed to boot it over. I once did something very similar to that in a youth football match, and I've never forgotten it. So
No.
he'll probably never forget that.
No, so we were lucky to 1-0, and it wasn't due to anything we did. They just could have done better.
Well, Walsall just, from the sound of it and from seeing the highlights, they just came at us, didn't they?
Yep.
Straight out of the traps, and they're just 100 miles an hour running at us, just on the front foot
Yeah.
from the first whistle, and we couldn't handle it.
No.
But then what happened?
Then second half.
We go in at half time.
Go in half time 1-0 down.
and we're lucky for it to be that.
We are. Jay, of course, has started alongside Nicky Law.
Yeah, interesting.
And he looked dynamic in the second half. I don't know if anyone looked dynamic in the first half. He plays a nice ball. He's running through the centre of the pitch, plays a nice ball out to Williams, who is it a first-time cross? It's certainly a quick cross. And Bowman, lofty as a treetop, bounces it right in the back of the net. Beautiful goal.
Yeah, very nice. The pass and the combination of Jay and Randell is exactly the same as the combination from last time they played together, isn't it?
Yeah.
That little sort of reverse pass inside down the channel, Williams runs in behind, clips it in. It's an identical goal.
Beautiful goal.
But the interesting thing that before that happens is that it's Nicky Law. It's a counter attack, and Law plays. It's Law combining with Jay to set up Randell to set up Bowman. So
and that.
I'm not saying I told you so because we did lose,
but that looked good. And shows that we can play direct when we want to. And I don't mean direct, punt it up the field. I mean like 1 and 2 touch passing.
quick counters,
counters, not just hanging around.
Yeah, well, we know we're capable of that. We've just forgotten it because it's been so long. And I think recently we've been getting a lot of teams who will sort of essentially give us the ball, and sort of let us run ourselves into the ground.
Yeah. And now they've got 30, the other teams have got 35, 36, 40 games worth of highlights to watch.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Everyone knows,
Everyone
knows
knows
what we're about and what our players are about.
Now, that's lower league football, of course. You don't have the opportunities to mix it up massively. But it's disappointing that we have got a few things we can do. Example A being that kind of counter-attack. And yet sometimes we just kind of forget.
I know all we do is call for changes. But do you think possibly maybe we're, at this stage, it's sort of a bit worrying that we're seem to be changing the shape and the personnel so much at this stage in the season. So we saw on Saturday, okay, now Jay is in from the start with Law, something we've never done before. Sweeney doesn't start for the first time, maybe not the first time this season, but certainly one of the first times this season.
Yeah.
Is that maybe it's just something you have to do because of
Well, I mean.
The amount of games you play, the surfaces you play on.
It didn't work. So thing number one says it didn't work, as in there was no positive result out of that game. But probably it's worth saying, stupid first 5 minutes. If that had been different, maybe it would work. It's hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
And then, of course, we're attacking. Thing number 2 to say is we then had a goal disallowed. So a free kick from Williams, similar position to where he crossed it from. Bowman, up in the air.
Yeah, it's a free kick. One by Matt Jay on the right. Yeah.
Williams crosses it nicely. Bowman finishes it beautifully.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
It's the sort of goal we'd seen sort of from Bowman beginning of the season, end of last season.
Yes.
Just getting his foot on the end of a cross. And
Yes.
just directing it towards goal, essentially.
Goal is celebrated. Everyone's delighted.
Yeah.
Except Bowman, who doesn't seem to look delighted ever.
Linesman flag is down by his side.
In the position suggesting the goal is onside. Then everyone has a chat.
Yeah.
Then the linesman decides it was offside.
No, the ref does.
Sorry, the ref decides. The linesman agrees because it's based on whether it's touched on the way through.
So that's what I think has happened. So from what we work out, it seems the ref's gone to the linesman to ask, did that big fella with the head get a touch on that? And the linesman says, yes, I think he did, or yes. What I don't understand there is, okay, well, if he's the one who's confirming that Ryan Bowman did get a touch on it, then why didn't he flag for it?
No,
I'll tell you why, because it wasn't offside.
Isn't the suggestion there was a touch before the Bowman?
Nah, Bowman's the first man there.
Okay. Then I don't understand either. I honestly can't get my head around it.
Yeah. It's very difficult to tell, innit, from the replays. And I think that most of the City fans were behind that goal.
Yes.
So we'll never know, probably. But it looks like maybe there's a guy at the very back post. He's out of frame when the free kick's taken, so it's just impossible to say.
Yeah.
There's definitely a chance that he's onside. And the linesman doesn't flag for it. I just don't know. I thought it was that. But I don't know.
Or is the question,
maybe there's a
is the
touch on it
ref
before
saying to him,
Bowman.
did you see that? Did you see that fella? Because I suppose the question is, if the linesman never clocked the guy that was playing him onside, and then the ref said, did you see him or not? Was he playing him onside? And he's like, I didn't see him. I don't even know what you're talking about. And the ref's like, well, there was a man. I think he was playing him onside. Maybe it was that conversation. If it's... I don't know. And this is why it's so frustrating. Why can't referees be interviewed? Like,
I don't know. They've never done that. I suppose that's kind of like an executive decision that it's probably for the best that they don't.
I don't know. I think they could make a statement at least. I think journalists could submit questions.
They have to be apologising every single week, and it's one man who's basically like having to shoulder kind of like the results which have big impacts on stuff. It's just think about the repercussions.
I just think with other sports,
they just got to shut up, haven't they? Because otherwise they just get like you admit into something every week, and it's just like it's not fair. I don't think on the refs to have to do that.
Maybe.
I think they should get better. Don't get me wrong. Like I think the standard of refereeing in League Two is poor. But as we can see, like the amount of money there is in football, and obviously less so at our level. But like think about the Premier League, and now they've got like VAR, which they brought in because there was too many mistakes being made.
Yeah.
And now there's still loads of mistakes being made. It's like quite clearly a bigger problem than just money, isn't it?
I just think, I don't know. Who knows? I think you could have a team of referees. So, I mean, we're running on 3 people, right? And a 4th official who can't say anything about anything.
Yeah.
You'd think maybe it'd be worth having assistant referees on each quarter of the pitch, or something. Do you remember when
they had the little man with the magic wand behind the goals in the Europa League?
They used to have them there, didn't they? Who would watch like from behind the goal. And you think, well, maybe that would be helpful. And I know we haven't got enough referees, but maybe they pay them properly. There's so much money in football. Maybe we should pay them properly so that people want to do that job. Maybe they really try and get people who know about football a bit.
This was like one of my points I was making to somebody when they introduced VAR. And obviously, it's such an expensive thing to implement. You can't implement it everywhere.
Yeah.
Why not just invest that money into getting more referees and training them better?
Yeah.
You can never get. We know how far like coaching and training's come from footballers in the last 20 years since the Premier League began. It's very well documented, and like it's night and day compared to what it was in the 90s. Is that the case with refs? I don't know.
Well,
from hearing like bits of interviews here and there was one with Mike Dean the other day on another podcast, which I won't mention because it's a rival. It's a ratings rival. But it didn't sound like it. They do get together and train, but it's sort of like sounds pretty tin pot to me.
Yeah, that podcast run by a player we won't name, but a name something like Dieter Mauch.
It's very close, but don't give me any more information.
I thought it was interesting, that Mike Dean one, because they're Premier League refs, right? And they meet up to train once a fortnight.
Yeah.
Once a fortnight?
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
It's not enough.
No, anyway.
Let's
go back to...
Well, so the goal's disallowed.
Yeah.
And of course, that changes everything. That is such a massive swing.
Oh, it really does, yeah. So we're well back in the game, by the way. We're like, leading up to that goal... Following the equaliser, we came out a different side.
Yeah.
We're so much better. We're more like they were in the first half. We're on the front foot, and then that does it for us, doesn't it? That disallowed goal
does really. So then they score their second goal, and it's not a mix-up. I think this is the downside with Law and Jay. Both of them kind of let it bobble around them a bit. So they're on the edge of the box defending.
There's a lot of not tackling.
Jake Taylor's not letting that happen, is he?
Well, Jake Taylor was on the pitch.
I know, but with those two in those positions.
No, and neither is Archie, and probably neither is Nigel. I mean, Nigel Aston Gunn taken off at half time because, I don't know, that system wasn't working.
Yeah.
Put Taylor on instead, I don't know why that was exactly, but
yeah, it's just those two players are really lightweight in the tackle.
Yeah, so if you're up against it,
you just got to put that in row Z, haven't you? And it doesn't happen for either of them. And in fact, they get several opportunities. Walsall managed to get the ball in the box.
Yeah.
So that's 2-1 down. Obviously, the thing swung back again. And then we're pushing. And Taylor admitted it. Taylor said in his interview, got no problem with the third goal. And you can't really, because that just happens, doesn't it? If you're pushing with a minute to go.
Yeah, so he brings Fisher on for Law, doesn't he? So that's another
yes.
striker on for.
I mean, I think that's right. I think he had to do something.
It's desperation at that point, innit? You got someone else to hit.
Yeah. The whole thing boils down to, if we hadn't conceded early on, the whole different complexion on the game. Obviously, the referee, you're going to get annoying things happen from refs.
Yeah.
Penalties.
Oh, we can't blame the result on that thing. I mean,
that was essentially, because we went a goal behind, we kind of have one chance, or not much chance, to swing it back again.
Yeah.
And then the referee on that occasion didn't give the goal. Then it's kind of that, isn't it?
Yeah. I turned when the third goal went in, I just switched the radio off.
In a rage. Switched it off or lobbed it in the pond.
And then I haven't even watched it in the highlights. Because I don't know why. What's the
sometimes
point?
you've got to look after yourself.
Yeah, I did think I probably should because I'm going to have to talk about this
It was
in a
fine.
couple of days. But
We
I
take
haven't seen
the
it.
strain. As Exeter City supporters, we take the strain for each other. And sometimes it's just frustrating beyond belief, innit?
Yeah.
And that was a frustration. I think the thing about that is it's the 3 games together, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Crawley, Crewe, now Walsall. Crawley was a very poor performance. Crewe was a very good performance until we conceded the equaliser. And then this one was a very bad start. And so the combination of those 3 games, you think, that is far too many minutes of poor football. That's the frustration, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it's a shame that, like I said before, that we've gone from basically being really good with keeping a lot of clean sheets. And we were so good on that. That was what's keeping our goal difference.
Yeah.
Because we really weren't scoring any goals. We weren't letting any in.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating to go from being like, okay, that's something that's solid. We're good. We're quite good with that. To being almost all of those results have hinged on kind of like goals which are like verging on like comedy errors.
Yeah.
You know, like just soft goals that like that are results of switching off or just not doing the simple things, like just not hoofing it when you got a chance, or not sticking a tackle in, or you know, not clearing your lines. I don't know. It's frustrating because you've seen us do it better.
That's
the
right.
other day.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then suddenly now it's just gone.
And although we're missing a couple of players to injury, actually that's very much 98% of the squad fit, isn't it?
Yeah, and there was people saying on the Saturday that's like a fan appeasing lineup.
Yeah.
Because people get frustrated with. I don't think this is like all City fans. I don't think these guys speak for the majority necessarily, but a lot of people kind of have been calling for, you know, Sweeney to lose his spot in the starting lineup at various points. You know, like we said, we know he gets a lot of flack.
Yeah.
And so people were like, okay, you're right, got what we want there. Sweeney's not in the starting 11. We've got what I want with Jay and Law both starting, which is something that we suggested as well. You know, like so you can't. And then when it doesn't work, you can't complain, can you?
No, but I do think.
Well, the next thing to do is people say, oh well, you just plucking ideas out of the air. Ben Seymour needs to start.
I think the honest truth is it was 5 minutes of brain freeze or whatever.
Yeah.
And we just, unfortunately, we can't do that if we've got any chance of automatics. We're going to have to be on it for 90 minutes. And now we've made our job much more difficult because the upcoming games are tricky.
Isn't it?
And the goal difference is unhelpful to us. And it's equivalent of a point less, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the frustration. I don't think there was anything wrong with the initial lineup. I think the changes at halftime were also sensible. I go back to the Crewe game, I think, where we had every chance to get the winner, or certainly we had enough time to get the winner. And it obviously they're a promotion rival as well, who now sit top.
Yeah.
That would have swung everything round, wouldn't it? Like you're allowed a bad game every now and then, and that was Crawley. You're allowed to concede goals against good teams. That was Crewe. But it's kind of not unforgivable, but that's the moments it hinges on, isn't it? If you got yourself half an hour to come back and get the winner against a team who were there for the taking.
Yeah, that's it.
That changes the first 5 minutes of this game, which means that we've got every chance of winning this game, which means that everything looks completely different.
Yeah, it's missing opportunities, and the ones that seem to be well within your grasp, isn't it? You know,
Yes.
and that's
and you don't even. I know that you don't even mean by that an opportunity of like a goal opportunity. You mean like we've got half an hour to score here, or
no, yeah, so exactly, yeah. The game's set up.
The game's
and
set
it's
up
like,
for
okay, yeah, this is doable. It's not like I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So
my favourite biscuit now is I'm just gonna have to live with the misery of malted milk.
right, yeah.
That's
For
how I
me,
feel.
It's gonna be a soft, rich tea.
Oh, the worst. Okay, well, I'll get us a pack of soft, rich teas ready for the next game at home. So, it's the first visit ever, I think,
Yep.
for League Two's newest multi-millionaire gamble. Salford City, coming to St James Park this Saturday.
Here they come.
Here they come. Scholesey's driving the minibus.
Yep.
Bex is polishing the boots.
Nicky Butts getting the tea ready.
Yeah. And Giggsy is...
Giggsy's on bibs.
Gigsy's on bibs. Ryan Bibbs. So Salford, I mean, they had a lot of hype this year.
Yeah.
They've had various low points in the season, but they currently sit 10th.
They're in with a shot still, aren't they?
They are in with the shot
good form
of playoffs. And obviously, as we know, playoffs favour the teams that kind of leap up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Us, on various occasions, among others. They're 10th. They've spent an awful lot of cash. And even in January, they were super busy. Adam Rooney was their kind of big signing in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's mental. I was looking it up and it looked like, I don't know if I got this right, but it looked like they signed 35 players.
I mean, that must be since the investment, must it?
I mean, maybe, yeah.
What have they been there? 3 years? Is this their 4th season?
Yeah, it's back-to-back promotion. No, I think it's a little bit longer than that. Maybe it's 5. But,
okay.
But I don't know. But it's not been as straightforward as the last couple of seasons for them, is it?
No.
I think...
And that's
I think
pleasing
who knows
to see.
what they were thinking, but a lot of people were thinking... I think they were bookies' second favourites to go off.
I think they were.
After...
Swindon.
No, it was Bradford or Scunthorpe even that were like...
Oh, you're right.
Favourites at the beginning, and they were up there, but it's not panned out exactly like that. Obviously, they found it more difficult, and why wouldn't you? And to be honest, the team and the ownership and the managers probably knew that, and it's probably a consolidation year, really.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's still pretty good going to be 10th at this point in the season, having 2 years ago been in the whatever it's called.
Yeah, Northern Conference.
Penguin Biscuit League.
I'd love a Penguin Biscuit League. Better than all that. Well, they're Vanarama, aren't they, at the minute? Anyway, the players, you can kind of list them off and you're like, crumbs, that's crazy. So Adam Rooney, Jake Jervis, they bought...
Ooh.
Yeah. They bought James Wilson, Donovan's brother, formerly of the Beach Boys, in January, who, you might recall, played a significant number of Premier League games for Manchester United themselves.
Yeah.
I mean...
Bit of nepotism going on there.
Well, I think they bought him because they needed someone, but he's not the player he was, or not the player they hoped he would be. He was there under Ferguson.
I mean, very few are.
True.
Just ask, I don't know. Can't remember his name, that guy who he sold to Man United.
Andy Taylor.
No, the youngster.
Oh, yeah, what happened to him? Anyway, then they're having a moderate season. Obviously, they're in 10th and they've picked up, but away from home, they're in form.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? They're really good away and they're terrible at home.
Do you wonder if there's any factor around new fans at home?
I don't know.
Well, when you watch that documentary of them and the Nevilles take them on, they're getting like 200 at home, right?
Yeah.
Now they're getting like 2,000, 1,500. I know that Argyle outnumbered them when they went there away, but I think they get 1,500 home. Now, to go from 200 to 1,500 suggests to me some folks have bailed out of some other clubs, Manchester City, Manchester United, Bury perhaps. Is there an unrealistic expectation at home from these new supporters?
Yeah, could be.
Do you know what I mean?
There's all sorts of factors. Could be that, yeah.
Because you're thinking, like, if you've only ever watched Premier League, and then you think these Manchester United legends have spent all this money.
Yeah, and also, the players, like you say, a lot of them are used to playing in front of a lot more people in bigger grounds and stuff. So they are, when they go away, they're probably more like what they are used to. I mean, don't know. Sometimes these things are just weird. And saying that, they beat Bradford 2-0. Easy for me to say.
Yeah, right.
They beat Bradford 2-0 at home. Saturday just gone.
Okay.
So
who scored? They had this fella, Hunter, scored for them.
They've bought in this guy, Ashley Hunter, on loan.
Fleetwood?
From Fleetwood.
Okay.
He's been... In January, he scored 5 in 11 appearances.
And he's a midfielder?
Yeah, he looks like... Well, I don't know. It looked like... Yeah, he's definitely a sort of midfielder, kind of winger. Some sort. He looks quick.
He's the Bruno Fernandes for League Two, they're saying.
Oh, are they?
I'm saying. I just said it. They've also...
So he's got...
Yeah, so Rooney scored a few, and then he started picking up. I mean, that's huge, isn't it? 5 in 11 games. Yeah. That's the kind of January signing you want.
Yeah, I watched the...
Although Dickinson's got a
I just watched the goals from the Bradford game before we did this, and they're both... He scores both. They're both when he just basically picks up the ball in midfield and runs at the defence and then shoots from outside the area.
We don't need that.
We don't need that one bit.
No.
So hopefully he's ill. Not coronavirus, but, something less bad.
The sniffles.
Yeah, the runs.
Well, okay, so that's Salford. That's Saturday. And then Tuesday is the, on paper, easier game. Scunthorpe, former bookies' favourites for the championship.
Yeah, no longer.
No longer. They haven't won away. They're the opposite. They haven't won away in 5 and have only drawn 1 of those. They currently sit in 19th. They're having a terrible year.
Yeah. And what's gone on there?
I don't really know.
Is it kind of bad ownership or
something?
It's
a husband and wife, isn't it? Ownership.
Is it? That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Oh, okay.
And I think they're like, we've had enough.
Okay.
So I guess lack of investment.
Yeah.
I think I've got that right. I think that's them.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. Is buying a football club the sort of thing to do for you?
Your troubled marriage?
Yeah.
This was sort of,
maybe
go to Lanzarote or something.
Yeah. Or start jogging, or I don't know, like
yoga
join
together.
a choir.
I think it's fairly stressful, isn't it, running the football club, particularly if you're doing it with your partner.
Yeah.
So that's Scunthorpe. I mean, we keep saying it, but I'd say that these are absolute must wins, aren't they?
Well, if the last two were must wins, then these ones, the last 2 home games, so the Crawley and the Crewe one, if they were must win, then I mean, what are these?
Yeah, I
really must win. I mean, if we don't, I mean, you will be starting to think if we can't come away with a win out of either of these games, how soon after that do we declare this season's automatic promotion chances to be over?
What's frustrating is...
Because I think it will be...
What's frustrating?
Exactly then. So it could be by week Tuesday, we could be thinking, right, playoffs at best.
So if we win these 2, and Argyle win these 2, unless there's a goal swing of plus 11, even if we beat Argyle at theirs...
We can't go above them.
We won't go above them. Now, obviously, there's other teams.
Yep.
So, again, it might get all crumpled up. Swindon obviously have now lost top spot. They lost on Saturday. And that's the other thing that's worth saying. But, yeah, we're currently in a situation that it's out of our hands.
Yeah.
Even with one of the
games. But also Crewe can lose, can't they? Then they didn't look that good when we...
No.
But we couldn't beat them, but they still didn't look that good.
Because, of course, if we go and win these next 2 and other teams drop points and then we beat Argyle, we're back in the absolute money.
We are, but the difference is that Swindon have lost 1 game recently. I think Argyle have lost 1 game recently, but they've won games either side, whereas we can't buy a win at the minute. And we're very much, like I said at the beginning, we're in a slump. TM.
Yeah. That's not how you sell. There's no TM in slump, by the way. So.
No, but it's like it's such a classic trope that I feel like someone's probably trademarked it.
Fair enough. Yeah, but these 2, we're going to need to not lose them. That's thing number 1, isn't it? We're going to need to not lose either of them, and we need 4 points from them. That's the absolute minimum to have any chance of sticking in with the autos, I would suggest.
I think so, yeah. Because as much as we keep saying plenty of games left, there's plenty of points available still, blah, 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 they're disappearing very quickly. We've got 2 games in a week.
Yeah.
So that suddenly, from a figure you were saying last week, there's 30 points have to play for.
Yeah.
Suddenly that's...
Yeah, that's right.
That's 9 of those are gone in the space of like a week and a half.
Yes.
And if you don't pick up any of them, yeah.
Do you want to know something about Scunthorpe and their partner, the partnership who own?
Yeah, of course I do. From the look on your face, I definitely do.
Owned by Peter Swan, okay, and his wife Karen.
The match man.
Hey?
Is he the match man?
Who's the match man?
Makes matches and stuff.
Oh, no. I'll tell you how he got his money. His wife Karen and he own the Wilkinson hardware stores. I don't think that's Wilco as in, the Woolworths. I think it's Wilkinson's, they do like drills and that.
Okay.
But they've got a company that they share together, right?
A kind of umbrella company.
An umbrella company.
Yeah.
If you and I were going to start a company, or maybe a new podcast that just chats about our great life, we might think of using this name, because the company's called Cool Fun Limited.
That's brilliant.
Cool Fun Limited.
So basically, what's happened there is they've started up businesses here and there, and then the tax man goes like, "Look, you've got to put all this under one roof."
Yes.
And they go, "All right, fine." It's like, "Well, you need a name. You have to have a name." You go, "I don't know, whatever."
We need one by midday.
Fun Limited, you know. That is first class.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
So
Annoyingly, that's taken because like that would have been.
that's a really good name for a
I'd have taken
band,
it
a
like that.
podcast,
Yeah.
a nightclub. So Scum.
It doesn't sound like they're having much cool fun at the moment.
No, it doesn't. I hope
Who
that
knows? Maybe Wilkinson's Building Supplies is having all the cool fun that a couple needs.
maybe. I'd like to hope that after these 2 games, we'll be having all the cool fun, and it won't be.
I
It'll
hope
be
so.
unlimited.
Yeah, unlimited cool fun.
Unlimited
the only
cool
thing
fun.
better.
Down Argyle having unlimited cool fun. Yeah, it's just the bleakness of the fork in the road we're up against hits me. In one direction, unlimited cool fun.
Yeah.
In the other direction, uncool misery.
It's just. I'm sure there's an analogy here about for this feeling of just every year just the same thing happens and you can't get out of this league and it doesn't even matter. Like, it's just this abstract thing of like it'll be the same. We'll still go to the same place on the same days every 2 weeks. It's basically no different. You see, like you're even playing half of the same teams. Nothing changes. It's not like we're not getting into the Champions League or suddenly we've got millions and millions of pounds. It's exactly the same, but still there's this kind of thing, unachievable thing you can't get, even though it isn't. It's almost intangible. Do you know what I mean? Like,
totally know what
it's
you mean.
striving after something that basically doesn't even exist, and you can't.
And yet
get
we want it. And yes, we
you can't
really want
get
it.
Yeah.
And then when we do get it, we'll love it.
Yeah. But I mean, you dare to dream, don't you, at certain points in the season, and like
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, and I always fall victim to that, even though I'm fairly cynical most of the time in all aspects of life.
Particularly when it comes to cool fun.
But it does get me too, like, and same with like England in the in the World Cup or whatever. You say you're not gonna believe, and then you start to believe. But like, it's just the disappointment,
I'm interested in this, though, because have you been reading these articles that talk about Manchester City supporters essentially going through a kind of depression because they realised they got everything they wanted and it wasn't anything?
Yeah, and it was bitter.
Yeah, and so they're getting to watch the best football anyone's ever seen every week.
You got Pep. You got Pep on the touchline.
You've got Pep on the touchline. You've got all these brilliant players wanting to come to your club.
Yeah, because your life doesn't change. You're happy in the moment, and you might have a week of going, I can't believe it, we won the cup, or
Yeah.
But then nothing in your life actually changes at all. It really and that's bound to leave you feeling empty, isn't it? Because there's nothing behind it. There's no substance.
Whereas my life's brilliant until I go to Exeter City, and then the emptiness kicks in.
Yeah, but maybe it's just this thing of like you can't realise it at the time, but it's the bleakness and the disappointment that is the thing you wanted all along. That's why you keep going. That's the thing drawing you in. It isn't the winning, it's the losing.
Maybe so.
That's what you're addicted to.
Maybe so. Well, anyway, on that postmodern and bleak note,
Tisdale would love a bit of this.
he really would. He'd be getting his monocle out. And...
Paul, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on. Get in touch.
Would you interview Tisdale?
Of course I would.
All right.
I'd love to.
Do you think he'd like it more or less if we said the podcast was called Cool Fun Limited?
He doesn't sound like someone who's particularly interested in cool fun to me.
No, that's true. All right. Well, never mind. Listeners, you can get in touch with us, whether you're Paul Tisdale or not, in the normal ways. We've been enjoying some of your reviews. Thank you very much for leaving them. Don't forget, you can always do that in the normal places, iTunes, etc. You can get in touch with us by leaving a comment in the normal places or by email, bigbankpod@gmail.com. On Twitter, we're @bigbankpod. And on Facebook, we're the Big Bank Theory Podcast. I watched Jordan Tilson play yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
What?
Ross County were hosting Rangers.
What, live on the telly?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd he get on?
He did fine. He did fine. Rangers, Ross County frustrated Rangers for the whole match. They scored him at the 85th minute.
Okay.
Maybe a bit earlier. But Tilson was doing his kind of destructive play in the middle, and it worked.
Okay, good for him.
And do you know what? I know it was Rangers playing, but it looked like a full house on a Sunday lunchtime at Ross. Well, at Dingwall, isn't it, they play? And it looked very enjoyable.
Yeah.
I hope he's having a good time up there.
Me too. I mean, he's done nothing wrong, has he?
No.
Tilson, and like
I was
said
really
before,
pleased for him.
He's got one of those faces where every time I see him, I can't help feeling sorry for him. I don't know why. He's got arguably got a lot more than me. He should be feeling sorry for me.
I believe he is. He did tell me he was.
But it's just his face. I just can't help it. It just makes me feel like, like...
Yeah, well, don't worry about him, because he's fine. Shaking hands with Stevie G.
I'll try and stop worrying about him.
It looked good, and I was interested to watch it. And, of course, I never would have predicted that the two City players I'd be watching on the telly this month, well, I'd predict one, Ethan Ampadu in the Champions League. I never would have thought that Jordan Tilson would be the other one.
No. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose that's what Scotland's good for, in a way.
Yeah, and it's
Sorry, Scottish listeners. I'm one of you, really.
I think it makes it all the weirder to think how League Two teams can attract Scottish players. So
Yeah.
Adam Rooney, Ryan
It's the
Bowman,
allure of
Jayden Stockley.
Of the English game, isn't it,
I don't know
The
what it is.
home of football.
I don't know what it is. I don't think we are the home of football.
We are.
Anyway.
We bloody are.
Anyway.
What about, in other former Grecians news?
Yes.
Ollie Watkins.
Flying.
Picking up some gong or other.
Best young player in London. London Football Awards, that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's decent, isn't it? Considering the amount of young footballers in London.
I know. He's flying.
Very well deserved. Scored...
How many has he
ton of
scored?
Goals. He was top scorer in the Championship.
Yeah.
It's about 20, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. Not surprising. He was brilliant, wasn't he? And he continues to be.
Yes. Somewhere I saw someone had put together all his goals so far this season. A lot of headers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't
Good,
it?
isn't it, that? So he can score all sorts of goals. Obviously, we see him as the golden cash cow who's, almost ready to milk.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's going to get something, isn't he?
But I'm still really pleased for him,
Yeah, I tell you this. Top of the league, top of the Championship top scorers is Mitrovic, scored 23 with 1 assist. Watkins second, scored 22, 3 assists. Wow.
See, that is decent, isn't it?
And then below him, Lewis Grabban, 17.
And as we know that...
Jared Bowen went to West Ham for how much? 30?
Yeah, a lot of money.
And he's on 60. Now, I know Watkins has now played an extra month, but...
Yeah. And, it says a lot, because the Championship's like a really high-quality division as well, and watched worldwide.
Yeah.
So, I mean, well done to him. And he said something about how he wants to, one day, his dreams to play for Arsenal. So, Mikel Arteta,
I mean...
Step in, son.
Well, I know we're getting off topic here slightly, but Lacazette's there's talk of him going, isn't there?
Is there?
Yeah. I mean, and Arsenal comes with a premium. We could be getting 30 million out of... Sorry, Watkins could go for 30 million, and we could get a very significant sum.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well played, Ollie. Well, I'm delighted for him.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. I'm also jealous.
Jealous of that goal.
Not of him, of that he's not playing for us anymore. And
yeah, absolutely. Maybe we'll get a podcast award this year. Oh, by the way...
We might win the best young podcast in Exeter.
I'd like to. I don't know if either of us count as young anymore, but...
Depends who's doing podcasts.
That's true. Dan, this is an appeal from the Big Bang Theory. Who can get us tickets to the end of season awards?
Yeah, okay. We really want to go.
But
we don't want to pay.
Well, we can't afford that.
No, we just can't afford it. I would like to go. It's a bit cheeky, isn't it? But, I don't know.
If anyone can hook us up, Exeter City staff, you know who you are, SP. Anyone, SP. Remembering your old Columpton connections.
Right, before this gets too... we would love to go.
JT.
And, we covered the last
MT.
one fairly extensively, and there was no... that was just...
That was just our photos.
Yeah, and the odd video, and that was just... that was free publicity, essentially, we gave you there. As is all of this.
It's free.
You know?
At the goodness of our hearts. And courtesy of Cool Fun Unlimited.
Yeah.
Our umbrella company.
We're getting nothing out of this. Absolutely nothing. I don't know if you the listeners are aware of that. We don't get anything.
We've never had a
back.
free thing.
Nothing.
It's costing us money.
This is I should be working now. I've taken this as a day off. Like, not taken the day off work, but I've deliberately scheduled my work so I'm not working right now. I should be. I'm not. I'm doing this instead.
Just get us in the... We don't want the dinner. We don't need the dinner. We just want to be there.
I want the dinner.
All right, we need the dinner. We'll share a dinner.
I'll have the dinner.
I'm vegetarian.
Yeah.
But if you could please book us 2 places at the table. I'd love to sit with Julian. Tag.
Oh, that's top table, isn't it? We're not going to get that.
Come on. Why not?
Yeah, we'll be sat with Vospers or something. Which is fine, you know?
I think we'll be sat with, like, you know...
Well, I'll tell you who won't be
Woodman.
sat with.
Oh.
Flyby.
Yeah, nightmare.
Yeah, I feel bad for anyone who worked for them.
Do you know that... Do you see this about the Chiefs?
In a way.
Do you see this about the
I
Chiefs?
did, but I don't expect anything else from those toffs.
I think... I feel really bad for them. That's 2,000 people losing their jobs. Nightmare.
Yeah.
And,
some very generous people. I can't remember who it was. Somebody on Twitter and has been offered to pay for those... the supporters and the Flyby staff who had their Chiefs tickets cancelled.
Yeah.
To go to the next Salford game instead at St James's Park. And I can't remember who that was, but fair play. That's a
well
very
done.
nice gesture.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's appreciated. And it's just making it. It's just reiterating the point that football supporters are just better people, better humans than
Rugby
you
fans.
rugby lot.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Anyway, that's probably enough for today.
I think so.
We'll be back after the Scunthorpe game,
Yeah, so
before the Argyle game.
late Wednesday.
But don't worry, because you got the whole weekend to listen to us before Argyle on the Monday.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a big old. We'll do a big preview of that.
We'll do a big preview.
It's going to be a big episode, the next one, isn't it? We've got 2 games to talk about, and we've got to preview that
Absolute bumper.
Argyle game. It's going to be like 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. Get your flasks ready,
It's going to be
listeners.
2 hours long. Yeah. Run a bath.
Dan's deep bath.
Put the kettle on.
Put the kettle on. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you later for some cool fun.